Hello, I am David W. Parker. This is Programming Today I Learned, WebGL series, episode 98. This is part 5 of our text series and part 1 of 2 using atlases. A lot of this idea was taken from the WebGLFundamentals.org website. It's a great space to look at, and if you want to read, it's a good spot to go read. So they have a nice PNG here that has this is a single texture for an atlas, and so we can use each of these letters as we map them to JavaScript. So we have these 8x8s, and we have a nice texture width of 40 by 64, and we can go ahead and write down each of the letters, their x and y coordinates, as well as their width. And since they're all uniform, this makes it really easy to do and to basically generate what we need to dynamically. As we're scrolling down here, you'll see I've added a plain object, and it's just going to be a square with the text chords drawn out and the indices as well. It's very simple, it doesn't have any selection or anything like that, and I'm going to show you why we did this in a second. So if we go ahead and look, here's our plane, and you can see everything is flipped respectively. And what's we've done is I've just changed and removed this pixel store unflipped Y, and I'll show you that in a moment why we did that. And of course, this is something that you can probably go ahead, well, not probably, you can go ahead and make it set depending on what you want each texture to do. So you could probably go ahead and in your textures here, you could load up whether or not it's supposed to flip or not. So as we scroll down, we're going to get down to another new object here called text. And it's doing the same kind of thing, but we're going to go ahead and dynamically generate the position and the text coordinate. And the reason for this is because obviously you don't want to use the entire texture map here. You want to use just each individual letter. So we're going to have a lot of the rendering out is the same as the plane, and basically all of our other functions it's the same, except we're definitely going to be using this texture of the atlas type, and we're going to go ahead and be drawing based off the initialized positions and texture coordinates. So we need to generate our indices dynamically, we need to generate our position dynamically, and our text chords. Position is going to be more important later as we get into a place where we're going to go ahead and do more than one letter in our text. So right now we're just going to do a single letter. In the next episode we'll go ahead and change this slightly so that it works appropriately for having multiple letters. So what you could do is we're going to go ahead and iterate through the state text as it is. Go ahead and grab the glyph from the list, and if there is one, we're going to go ahead and create our offset for x2, as well as our 4 different calculations for determining where in the texture map the letter is. So we'll have our U1 and U2 and the V1 and V2 based off of the X and the Y's respectively. So we can use each of those, and we're going to have 6 vertices per letter just because we're making 2 different triangles, and we need to make sure that the indices know that we're not going to be reusing any. We could probably eliminate stuff like this if we wanted to only use 4 indices, and then we could go ahead and make sure that our indices reflect the fact that we're reusing positions and reusing texture chords. I didn't do it this time because it was just easier to keep this the same. We're also keeping this at our scale that we want it to be, so we're dividing all of these numbers by 8 for the position. We could do that in a different way as well. It's just easy, like I said, to just go ahead and divide by 8 for everything. And so what we could have down here is we're going to go ahead and build out the vertices and set the buffer data dynamically on initialization as well as the indices. And if we go ahead and scroll down here, we can copy out the plane and then go ahead and draw the text. So we're going to have the letter C right now. So as this refreshes, excuse me, you'll see here's the letter C, and if we wanted to have the letter F, or E, excuse me, F, I think we have an exclamation mark. So it works pretty well. There's definitely some things we could do with this. Obviously, letting it handle multiple letters is something that needs to happen. So we'll look at that in the next episode. But for now, this is a good start at looking at how we can use offsets and your texture coordinates to use an atlas in order to display text as well. That's it for this episode. If you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe and like this video. Share it on social media if you will. Go to ProgrammingTIL.com and sign up for my newsletter. Have a great one.